Welcome back to another episode of the Success Times Happiness podcast. I'm your host, Richard Thompson. Today, I'm joined by Kirsten Jackson, one of Australia's most celebrated contemporary abstract artists. From finding painting as a refuge after losing her mum at just 14 to building a globally recognised art business, Kirsten's journey is one of resilience, flow, and unwavering commitment to her craft. In this episode, we unpack grief, creativity, endurance, and what it really takes to turn a passion into a lifelong pursuit. Whether you're an artist, a business owner, or simply navigating your own journey, this conversation is for you. All right, let's get into it. Kirsten Jackson, thank you so much for coming onto the show.
It's great to be here, Richard.
As I said to you before we started recording, I'm a huge fan. We've got 2 of your prints at the office in the firm, and there's 3 at home and 1 in my mother-in-law's house. So we are fans of Kirsten Jackson, that's for sure. But you're an independent artist. How would you describe the way that you paint?
I would say I paint very intuitively, and when I'm working, I don't think at all. It's almost like I know you're an athlete, so you know when you're in their zone with running or cycling or swimming or whatever you're doing, and you lose track of time.
Flow state.
Yeah, I get into flow state, which is really, really nice.
Yeah.
And my mind just shuts off and I don't have any thoughts. So I think it's actually really good for my health as well, because I can go into the studio and just, sometimes I have music, sometimes I don't, but it's just, I lose track of time and it's so much fun. I'm so lucky.
But what comes out of that, though, is a particular type of painting. It's vibrant, it's colourful, it's abstract. I'm not one to consume art by any stretch, but I don't know how I came across you initially, but I just love it. I love everything what you produce. That's your, I guess, your brand, or your that's the type of painting, of the work that you produce. Where did that originate from?
On reflection, and I've thought a lot about this, and I've spoken about this in the past on social media and other podcasts, and it's part of my story, is when I was 3, my father passed away, and then when I was 14, my mum passed away of leukemia. And the 2 things I did after she died was I started colouring in, like using, not paints, but I was using a lot of crayons and colours, and everything was really bright. And the other thing I did was start running. But I think the painting part was for me to make me happy. So I actually can't paint anything dark or sad. It's almost like I started to paint for me, and then it then just become an expression that people loved. And also I think when people see my work and they meet me, they go, oh my God, you look like one of your paintings. Like, yeah, it's very authentic. It's sometimes you can meet an artist and you see their work and you're like, how that doesn't fit. Like they're not their work, but I feel like my work's very authentic. Yeah.
Yeah. And there's that's where the titles of the pieces come through as well, I presume, because things like A Pure Joy or So Much Love for You or Follow Your Heart, there's so many, the way that you label each piece is in line with that as well, right?
Yeah, a lot of them after my dog. So Much Love for You.
The truth comes out. The truth comes out. Take me back though, when you were 14 and finding that, I guess, escape in painting, particularly in dealing with the trauma of losing your mum, and obviously managing the world without parents. Was it the vessel that you have now where you're able to find flow state and just think about nothing, or was it a way where you actively working through, that sort of the grief and the loss at the time?
I definitely don't think I was ever working through grief or loss. In those days, it was a long time ago now, but in those days it was, you just get on with it. You don't talk about it. My grandparents were from the World War and the Depression, so I don't even think I ever saw them cry after my mum died. It was like, just move on. So I think for me, the running was probably more therapeutic in a way, because when you're moving your body, it's so good. And then I happened to be quite good at running, which was good. But the painting was just, I think it was just something just to make me feel joyful. There was no thought process, I'm doing this to make me happy. It was later on in life that I realized, oh my gosh, I actually know why I paint. Like I had no conscious awareness of it. It was just very intuitive.
Your first series, as I understand it, you called them Faces, and they were portraits of your late mother.
Yeah.
How important was that for you at the time, and why do you think, on reflection and years past and with 2020 vision, how do you look back at that body of work in the relative to what you are, where you are now?
Well, I didn't do the first face until years later. I did it because my children were really little and I wanted my mum in the house. So I thought I'll page her. So she's actually she's still here. I'm looking at her. She's looking at me now laughing. She's like, and it actually does really look like her. So that I would have done that. Well, my daughter's 28 and my son's 25. So I probably did that when they were like, I don't know, maybe 10 or 7 or something. They were very young. So that was like my first happy face I ever did. And then I probably only produced 1 or 2 of those a year because they're so special. Like I don't want to do too many of them. I just like, they're really, really special. And as soon as I do one, it will just go straight away. Like I have had some commissions for people who've sent me pictures of their children, or they said, can you do like something? And I do love doing that as well because I think it's a really nice thing to do for people. Yeah.
So if we go forward a little bit in your story, and I'm very keen for you to unpack or tell the story about the colourful fish and how it got you into, I guess, taking more autonomy with the product that you're making.
Yeah, so my girlfriend at the time, she had a holiday house down in Portsea, which is like the la-di-da place to have a holiday house in Melbourne.
How old are you at this point?
The kids were really little,
Okay.
like they were babies. Like Alexander would have been 1 and Taylor would have been 3.
Right.
And she went to London for a few years and she said, do you want to have the holiday house while we're away? We're not going to use it. So we would just use it all the time. We'd go down there. And she had this fish that she bought from Noosa. And I think she paid like $2,000 for the fish, like maybe 30 years ago. No, it wasn't 30 years ago. It would have been like 25 years ago.
Yeah.
And I'm like, because I'd stopped painting for a while, and I thought I'm gonna paint that fish because I love it. Because she wouldn't sell it to me. I said, can I buy the fish off you? And she said, no, you're not having the fish. As it turned out, she put it in a hard rubbish collection. So that's the story. Anyway, so I did the fish, and I actually gave the fish to someone as a gift. And then I was like, the kids were little, and I didn't want to go back to work, so I was like, oh, maybe I'll start painting and make some money, because I wanted some money, because my husband honestly thinks we're still in 1970, and he'd be like, how much is the hairdressers? Oh my God, it was a nightmare. So I needed that independence to have income coming in. So he asked me for money now, and I say, nope.
How much is the golf clubs? No.
No, it's more like the bike. Oh my God.
Oh, he's into cycling?
I love cycling. Yeah.
Gosh,
So,
between you and your running and him and his cycling,
yeah.
just need a swimmer to have a team triathlon, right?
Yeah, no, he'd still be too slow with him there.
Well, I am interested then in this juncture of your life where you were corporate, right? You're in marketing and sales, and from what I've with my research is that when the kids came along, you didn't want to go back to corporate life, but I think there's a lot of listeners that have this, and presumably you've painted a lot in your adolescence and into your 20s, and at some point there is this moment where you're like, oh, I really love doing this, and like you just touched on, it's like, well, what happens if I did that for a job or tried to do that, and almost like this sort of side hustle culture that we have prevalent at the moment in society, and how. What were the conversations that you were having with yourself in terms of, I guess, confidence, or whether or not you'd be good enough? Like, it's easy now to say Kirsten Jackson is an artist and you've got this body of work and this reputation and the demand. But at the very beginning, where does the resiliency, where does the confidence come from?
Well, I think I've never ever given up in life with anything. So that's like I'm very willful. That's my personality. And I'm really good at backing myself. So I just never, it never dawned on me actually. There was never any thoughts that this won't work. But I was kind of lucky because we didn't need, like, it wasn't like I had to go and get a job. Like, there was no pressure from me to produce income at that point in time because my husband was okay, we were fine. But so I think that helps. I think it's easier to like start a side hustle and get some money coming in if there's no pressure to pay bills, if that kind of
Sure.
makes sense.
Yeah.
So that was really, I was very fortunate to be in that position where I could paint in the garage when the kids were little, and just kind of like in those days you really wasn't online. You had to go through galleries and exhibitions. So I'd just knock on doors, and I was really good at selling. So I'd keep going. I'd know, okay, if I ask this many people. And I remember one of the first exhibitions I did, I didn't sell anything. And it was like over a weekend. It was like a school exhibition, the schools sometimes have exhibitions, and it was a really big one in Melbourne. You had to get accepted, and they accepted me, and I was like so excited. And I was like, oh, I'm going to put in 4 paintings and they're all going to sell. And we went back on Sunday night to pick up, to see what had sold, and they were all still there. No one had bought anything. And I was like, oh no. So the next year I did it, and the same thing happened. The 4 painting, I didn't sell anything, and my husband felt sorry for me. He's like, maybe you should find something else to do. And I'm like, no, this is going to work. It's going to work. So I think also I needed more hours at my craft. Like anything, the more time I spent doing it, the better I got.
It sounds like like you're just born resilient, and I'm not sure whether that's a nurture or nature thing for you, and no doubt with what you had to endure in your childhood built that resiliency. But I would have thought there would have been some times in some junctures where you did doubt yourself, or is it just unreservedly going, these knockbacks from these, galleries and exhibitions, and particularly if no one's buying the product as well, are you steadfast, or are you having any doubts during that period of time?
I was steadfast. I've got one more story, which is I just remembered. It was so funny. So a few years ago, I was doing an exhibition at one of the affordable art fairs, and a gallerist came up to me, and he's like, Kirsten, do you remember me? And I'm like, oh my God, yeah, I do remember you. He had a gallery, and it had a really nice gallery. It was all beautiful abstract work. I loved all the work. And I remember I knocked on the door and I said, can you please sell my paintings? And he said no. But he said, oh, I brought one in. And he goes, oh, it was like it was like 100 centimetres by 100 centimetres. There was 1 centimetre of the painting that he loved. He said, go and make the painting like that and come back and see me. So I went back to him 8 times that year, and he's like, no one has ever come back twice. He said, you just keep going. And so he ended up selling my work, a lot of work that was a long time ago now, but yeah, and my work, he was really good actually. And so that was, I guess that kind of was testament to me, because I was shocked that no one had gone back to him. I was like, what?
Yeah. Are you self-taught through this process? Like that, he sounds like somewhat of a mentor. Did you lean on other professionals? Did you have anyone to look up to in that growth phase?
No, I did get accepted into RMIT, which is a really hard university to get into as an artist. This is once again when the kids were little. I got accepted in, but I only went for a year. It was a 3-year degree, because I had to put the kids in before care, after care. It was boring, and at the time I was running a lot. I was trying to qualify for certain events and looking after the kids. I just felt bad putting them in after care and before care. And then I was also selling paintings. So I was like trying to get the paintings done. So I was like, this degree is so boring. I'll go back to it maybe one day. And I was only doing it so I could say I had a fine arts degree. But at the end of the day, it doesn't really matter. Like, I don't need the degree.
Talk to me about the running. You run more marathons than me, I think. And where does that thirst come from?
it was my way of processing grief when I was younger, and also I happened to be quite good at it. So I think when you're good at something and you love something, then you're just going to keep going with it. Yeah. So I couldn't run for 4 years, the last from 2021 to 25. Yeah. So from 21 to 20, I couldn't run and I could hardly walk. I got a neurological condition. So that was another thing about, I guess, not giving up, because I really, during that time, I missed my running so much. And to go from being quite a good athlete to nearly, like, the neurologist was saying, you need to get a scooter, or like you can't be walking like that. Like, it was really challenging. And I think I went around the world over the 4 years and spent about $400,000 trying to fix what was going on, and nothing was working. But I was very fortunate that I found a team here in Melbourne that said they'd do a surgery on me and my brain, and they said, look, it's a 50% chance it will work, and then if it does work, it'll probably only work like 10 or 20%, so you might walk a little bit better, but you're never going to run again. And then so I had the surgery in February. They put like a pacemaker in my chest, which I've got like here, and then there's a wire that goes all the way up into my brain, and there's 2 electrodes in my brain, and it constantly sends a signal to stop. It cancels out a signal because I had a faulty signal going to my foot. It's called dystonia.
What were the
And
symptoms
so
of that, Kirsten?
I just couldn't control my foot. I could not, no matter how hard I tried to land flat, it would roll over. So I'd have to slide when I was walking.
Oh,
But
goodness.
then like every step you'd have to think, and if I lifted my knee, it looked really weird. Like people would go, "Oh my God, are you okay? Do you want to lift? Let me." I was
Yeah.
like, "No, oh no, I'm strong."
I run marathons.
Yeah, like don't
Leave
do
me
that.
alone. Yeah.
I was so ego, but anyway, yeah. So and it
And
worked.
did that just come on all of a sudden at that time, or is it
Yeah,
gradual?
very gradual. There's another athlete. It's called runner's dystonia. It's very, very rare, but people can also get it in their neck.
Okay.
Like, so they can't control their neck, so they can't actually, their neck goes to the side and it moves, and they can't drive and they can't work, and they're in actual pain.
Goodness.
So the foot's probably wasn't good for me, but at least I wasn't in pain, and at least I could keep working and I could drive my car.
So
Yeah,
you
so
had to, when you were walking to the kitchen, you had to slide your foot to keep control of it.
yeah, and I'd have to think every step. It was exhausting. It was like, so now when I just go for a walk, I almost cry. I'm like, oh my God, I can park my car anywhere.
Yeah.
So
the pacemaker and the thing that's going into your brain cancels that signal out to the foot, so then you're allowed to have that control again.
yeah, and so I just have to charge the pacemaker once a week for an hour.
Okay.
I'm like the bionic woman.
Yeah, you plug it into a USB.
I'm like, oh my God, don't forget to charge it. Oh my God, to go for a run.
Goodness. And how was your resiliency through that? I mean, you had art, obviously, right? But it would
Yeah,
have been from someone an experience, like from my experience, you, particularly if you love running and love movement and you're unable to do that, that would have been, I would have thought, extremely difficult.
it was harder than my mum dying. It was awful. It was because running had always been like my best friend. It had been like my go-to. Like if I was happy, I'd go for a run. If I was sad, I'd go for a run. And I love racing, and my whole community is my running friends. So, going for a run with my running friends, or going to training and doing sessions, and I love pushing myself. And so it was it was like another lot, like it was like a death almost, like that I grieved. Yeah.
Yeah, for sure. And so then talk to me how you've come out of that then.
Oh, I'm just so thankful. So I literally had the surgery, and it worked. And it worked so well, I started running. And I'm going in all the medical journals, and they're presenting my case at some neurology thing overseas to 16,000 movement disorder specialists around the world. So they're like, the team that did the work on me, like I love them so much. I'm like, oh, thank you so much.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, that's so inspiring. And you got races up ahead? booked in?
Well, I did the marathon. I had the surgery in February, and then I started walk running in April or March, and I ran the Melbourne Marathon in October, and I just jogged it, and I was like, oh, this is like the best
Huge.
marathon I've ever
Yeah.
done. Yeah. So I'm going to run it again this year.
Mm.
And of course I want to run faster. So we'll see what happens. I'm like, I think I could win my age group. I just got to
Make sure you're charged up and the batteries are full.
That's it.
So cool. Hey team, just popping in to say thanks for listening. If you're enjoying the episode, please take a second to like or follow the show and share it with a friend. It's the best way to help us grow and keep bringing you more great content. All right, let's get back into it. All right, well, I'm going back to art. I'm going back to the business that you've created. No doubt your experience in corporate, in the marketing and sales has helped you. Talk to me about, did you visualize in those early days when the kids were young that you would be where you are today? Or at what point, were there any markers along that journey where you thought, whoa, this is beyond what I thought was possible. Let's keep going.
No, it's really interesting because I've never, like with the painting, I do it because I love it. And I was like, okay, I'll just sell 2 or 3 paintings a month, and that'll be really nice. That'll just pay for some clothes and some
hairdressers.
Things. Yeah, the hairdressers. And then I got busier and busier, but you can only paint so many paintings. And then I got, it was a few people kept contacting me about doing prints. And so I was like, oh, gee, that's a good thing, because if I can sell prints, then I don't have to do the paintings, and then people can still have my artwork in their home, but it's got to be, I wanted it to be really good quality. So the prints will be more affordable, plus I don't have to do anything. So basically, I found after some trial and error, I actually, my printer that I've got now, I've had for over 10 years, is absolutely amazing. He's just like, they do everything for me. Basically all my orders go from my website. I just use Shopify, and they go straight from my website to the printer. And then the printer will print them, and they will ship them out if they need to be stretched and framed, which 99% of them do, unless they're going overseas. They will stretch them, frame them, and ship them, and send the tracking number to the collector. So, and the thing is that the prints are so good, as you know, people keep buying more. So we have thousands of sales. Like, it's insane, and they're big. They're like big prints. They're not small. They're like $2,000-$3,000 prints. So I'm in such a good position to be able to, I guess, people can have my work. They can find, they love it. They want more. The quality's really good, and I've got a really good setup. And all I have to do is creatives, and I do run a lot of ads on Facebook and Instagram and Pinterest. So that does take a bit of time, probably more time than I'd like. I run all my own ads. I have used agencies in the past, but no one cares about your business like you do.
I agree with that.
I've been scaling the ads, and as I keep spending more money on ads, we just keep getting more print sales. So it's really good at the moment. Yeah, it's great.
Was there a moment in that journey where you thought that gave you the inclination that you're on the right path? Watershed moment where you...
Well, I think what happened was I used to work from home. I started off in the garage, and then we bought a house where I had a studio, and so I'd work from home out in the studio. But people would want to keep coming to the house to view artworks. And then I'm like, okay, I need to move out of the house. So then I rented a studio, and then in 2017 I bought a shop, which is like 5 minutes from my house. And so the front of the shop, you'll have to come if you're in Melbourne. It's like a showroom, and then at the back is like my studio. It's huge. We knocked out all the walls, and so when people come, they don't want to be in the showroom. They're all like, they come out the back, and I can't get rid of them. They're like, oh my God. And if they've got kids, their kids are like crazy. They're like, oh my God, this is like heaven, So I remember during COVID, I still had people doing click and collect, and they'd come in and they just would not go. They were like, oh, I'm not leaving.
I spoke, as I said to you before recording, one of our incredible team here is an artist as well, and she's exhibited in the Brisbane Affordable Art Fairs too. I asked her what if there's any questions she would want to pose to you, and I'll butcher the framing of it, and I apologize in advance to T, but the idea that you talk about the flow state and that it's obviously, and I would imagine for a lot of artists that is the case.
Mm.
How readily are you able to get into that flow state? Is it okay, I'm in your gallery out the back. It's 9 o'clock. Now it's time to work. Click your fingers and you're in. Or is there resistance internally? You have to be in the right mindset. You have to be in the right mood to create. How does that work for you personally?
For me personally, I'm very lucky. I can just go in there and work. I never get blockages. I never not want to paint unless it's absolutely freezing cold.
I mean, it's Melbourne, so that
Yeah.
kills three-quarters of
There's
the
been
year.
days, yeah, where I'm like, "Oh my god, I gotta go, I'm too cold," or like it's like boiling hot. But yeah, or say it's a nice day outside, and I'm like, "Oh, I really want to be outside. Do I want to be painting in the studio today?" So, once I get in there and I get into, like, I literally get into it straight away. Yeah, but I only paint 5 days a week, and I'll paint for 3 hours a day. So I don't paint more than that. Once I get to about 3 hours, I start wrecking things. It's almost like it's actually funny. My body tells me, because I'm up and down all the time. Like I work on the floor and then I'm up, and I have to keep getting up and down. I start getting dizzy, and so and then I go, okay, I know my body's telling me you're done. You've used all your energy. You need to go now.
At what point do you say a piece is finished as well? Because it's abstract. You're not necessarily, you're obviously not painting a landscape picture or a subject. It's in your mind. First question is, do you walk me through this? And I'll probably, I'm not in the game of art. Do you have a vision in your mind before you on the canvas, or but regardless, when do you know you are done?
So there's two answers to that. The first one is there's never any vision if I am just creating for exhibitions, or just say we might do a couple of drops a year of originals on the website. But if I'm doing commissions, and probably 50% of my originals I paint are commissions, then I do need to think, I need to go, okay, they basically, the rule of thumb is with a commission is you send through 2 of your favorite pieces of mine, no more than 2. Sometimes people send 20. I'm like, no. I can't, and they're all different. I'm like, what? I can't do a blue tango with a face. What the hell? Anyway. So they'll send through their 2 favorite pieces, and hopefully they're the same kind of style. And then I work off those using the same colors and composition. So with the commissions, that's the only time, to be honest with you, where I'm like, oh, I've got to get the commissions done. It's stressing me out. I don't like to have too many commissions on at once, because I want to be able to paint freely. But then I still do like doing commissions, because for instance, yesterday someone came in and ordered nearly a 3-meter painting. And I don't just have 3-meter paintings available for people. So
Sure.
There's a place where I'll go, okay, I can do a commission for you. And also I do kind of scan people, if they start getting too directive, I'm like, no, I'm really sorry. I want them to be happy. I don't want people, sometimes people will start going, oh, I need this, I want this, I want no pink. And I'm like, no, it's not going to happen. You got to just let me, because you won't be happy with the end result. Yeah.
Otherwise you get a brush.
Yeah. I know. I'm like, well, go and paint it yourself then. Don't worry. I've had that conversation.
Yeah, exactly.
But I think when artists first start, they're kind of nice and they want to please everyone. And I used to be like that. And I try and do everything that everyone wanted. And then I just learnt, no, actually it's not good for them and it's not good for me. So I'm kind of really strict with my rules.
Yeah, fair play. You're also not only a thriving artist, but you're now doing workshops and mentoring and online courses for, I guess, people wanting to follow your footsteps in the art industry. What have you found in that process are the biggest lessons or pitfalls that people would come up against?
I used to run workshops in my studio on how to run a business and make money as an artist. I've done quite a few of them. We haven't done one for a couple of years. And I would get all the objections from everybody during the workshop. Like you'd normally have 25 artists come for the day and they'd pay for the day, and I'd teach them everything on how to make money and how to run a business as an artist. I think the biggest problem is with most artists is they don't treat it as a business. They treat it as a hobby. And so they're never prepared to spend money on the business. And any business you've got to invest in. Like you need to invest in a website. Like that's so important. You need to invest in, like with the ads, doing ads on Facebook and Instagram, I paid, like, I don't know, it was like $24,000 for the year to learn to teach. Like I did a course. So
Just to learn.
yeah, just to
Yeah.
learn.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, and also photo shoots, like we'll do photo shoots and they'll be like 20, 30,000. Like, well, we don't do as many of them anymore because still pictures don't work as well on Instagram and Facebook now. Reels and carousels are doing really well. But like if you tell them, I've spent that on a photo shoot, they're like, what? Like,
Yeah.
and I'm like, but hold on, you get it. Like if I put one print in situ in a home and it's photographed beautifully, that print will sell 100 times because people love how it looks. They can see it and visualize it in their home.
Mm-hmm.
That's probably the biggest thing, is that they think, oh, I can't spend that. And I'm like, but you need to spend something to get something back.
So interesting. And what would be your advice outside of that? Because I guess it would be what you've been able to create from something you love doing and your hobby, and build it into a thriving business that it's not limited. Potentially could not, might not be limited to art for other people. Other than going all in and being resilient no matter what. What would be your advice, I guess, to your former self about the path that you've led?
I think just being really open to opportunities and trying different things. Some things have worked really well and other things haven't. But then I think if I didn't try everything, then I wouldn't know. You're a lawyer, so I was early on very trusting with people. So, doing collaborations and things like that, I would just think they'd do what they're going to say they're going to do, and then it wouldn't happen. So if I go back to my younger self starting out, I'd probably say get everything in writing.
Yeah, sure.
But that's just that. I guess I just learned that. But also, if I was an artist starting out now, I would just say like people expect success overnight, and like I've been doing this for like nearly 26 years now. Like that's a long time. Like people think I just open up an account, a Facebook account, and then I'll start selling a million paintings. It's like it does take time. I mean, some people maybe it doesn't, but for me, my journey, it did. Everything just kind of evolved and progressed really nicely.
Overnight success that took 25 years.
Yeah.
But I think there is an element to that, in the sense that I think people underestimate what you can achieve in 10 years. You know, and then the compound effect of the craft, and as you sort of pointed out, you just needed time. You needed time to be better. Time, and it's not a do this course and I'm there. It's I just need the Malcolm Gladwell's 10,000 hours, but it's probably a lot more that you've produced, that you've had to endure to find your path. But it's also, I think, there's no. It seems to me that there's never been a goal for you. The goal is almost like, and again, like the Simon Sinek position of the infinite game, that your goal is to not stop painting.
I don't have a goal. And it's really interesting you say that, because I always had goals with running, like to run this time and qualify for this team. And I actually think it went against me because I'd put so much pressure on myself.
There'd become an objective outcome of success and failure, as against, I'm just going to continue running.
Yeah. I think if I had have brought the energy I brought into painting and my art business into my running when I was younger, I would have done so much better.
Why do you think the endurance part of both running and your career as an artist appeals to you so much?
I don't know. I've never really thought about that before. I think there's a fair
synergy with it, to say, well, I'm enduring this, right? That's the part of the endurance, and I'm
Mm.
not stopping. I'm continuing to go through the journey, no matter where it leads or where there's no end point. It's just to keep going.
Yeah, it's interesting you say that because a lot of people I know stop running. I'm like, why would you stop? Like, why would like when people say they've retired, I'm like, why would you retire? I don't understand. I'm going to paint till I die.
Yeah, yeah. But I think because you don't have, well, you've certainly shifted your mindset of running now, right? In terms of never stop running, but it sounds like you've always just wanted to continue to paint, and you've built a life around that, right? And built a business around that. But ultimately, if it was to get to a certain number of sales, top line or volume, then that would have been achieved, and you would have stopped painting.
Yeah, I think it's infinite though. I mean, I could sell prints all around the world. So it's like there's no I don't see it as like I don't have in my mind I'm only going to have this many collectors or this
Hmm.
many sellout exhibitions or whatever. I just want to keep evolving and keep improving, and I want my work to keep improving, my business to keep scaling, but scaling in a way that I've still got a good lifestyle that I can spend time with my family and my friends and I'm not stressing out over work, if that kind of makes sense.
Yeah, and it's potentially the journey of scaling, not
Mm.
scaling to find an outcome or to find an
Yeah.
end point, but it's to say you're in. Yeah, it's a different level of endurance, a different, I guess, medium of endurance, where you say, well, now you're looking at it as a business, and you're on that path and going, oh, as long as I continue in the business, or the business continues to go down a particular path, that's what fills up your cup. It's not. It's certainly not at the expense, right? So that's like when I talk to people in my previous life when I was an athlete, to go, I want to be the world champion, but it's not at and anyone's goal is not at all expense, right? Because you still have to be the spouse, you still have to be the parent, the boss, the business owner, the artist. You have so many things that you want that you need to continue to do, um, but it's not at all at the expense. How do you personally manage that then, Kirsten, in terms of keeping those balls in the air that are, I guess, more important than or equally as important as scaling the business?
I always make sure I've got time for movement. That's like the most important thing, and my family and my friends and my dog. I've got to walk my dog every day. I actually gets 2 walks a day generally. Um, I think I couldn't think of anything worse than just working all the time like that. I would actually not like the business. I wouldn't like it anymore.
Mm.
So yeah, some people can. There's some people that will, at the expense of their children and their family, just work, and they love that. Like, but for me, no.
It's the balance.
It needs to be a balance.
And
Yeah.
how do you reconcile that to know whether you've got the balance right? Or is that an intuition or
Well, I'm pretty much like if anyone wants to come to the studio for an appointment, I don't open up until 12. And so the mornings are mine. So
Mhm.
if I'm going to catch up with a friend for a coffee or a walk, or I always go for a run in the morning, or go to the gym, walk the dog, have a leisurely morning, and then I might reply to emails first thing, but and that kind of stuff. But I won't do anything in the studio or painting until the afternoon. Oh, people are driving to work at 8:30. That's so bad.
Where does the next five, if we where you've got to, and I imagine like anyone in business, like the last 5 years is so much better than it was the 5 years before that, which was so much better than the 5 years before that. Where are you in 5 years' time?
The main goal for me is just to scale the artwork prints. Yeah, that's the main, because we haven't even tapped into the American market, and it's something that I'm looking into at the moment, and UK. Plus, I used to exhibit the last 10 years, I've exhibited in London and Hong Kong, Singapore, Hamburg, like New York,
Mm.
and they love my work in London and in Hamburg, like absolutely. They love the color. I think and also New York. So I'm probably not going to worry about doing the exhibitions anyway. I haven't been doing the exhibitions because I can only produce so much artwork.
Yeah.
So I do the Melbourne exhibition, the Melbourne Affordable Art Fair, and the Sydney and the Brisbane one. They're the 3 big shows I do a year. And I normally, like for Sydney, I produced 33 pieces and they all sold. So it was like really good, but I'm like, I can only paint so many paintings. And then, so it's the prints that I'm just looking at. Like, okay, let's let the world have my prints. They're affordable. We just got to work out logistically, make it viable.
How do you do that? Yeah.
We do send them overseas now, but there's got to be a better way. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Oh, that's really exciting. Really, really exciting. And I thank you so much for your time. As I said, keep doing I just love what you produce. And before you go, we have the 5 quick fire questions for you. What does success mean to you?
Success means to me to be able to spend time with my children and my husband and walk my dog Henry and go for a run every day.
And what does happiness mean to you?
The same thing.
I love that. You touched on it a little bit, but what does your morning routine look like? What time do you wake up, and what are there any non-negotiables through that?
Yeah, definitely. I normally, this morning I woke up around 6. I went for a run. I did a session. That was great. And then I always get a coffee straight after my run, which I absolutely love having a coffee. And then I walk the dogs. That's always the morning. Like that's done. Yeah. And then I went into the studio after that. Yeah.
Yeah, great. For anyone listening, and to summarize your whole journey, what would be one piece of advice that you would give?
Never give up.
I love that. And then finally, someone who you know that you think would be a great guest on the show for us to interview.
I would love you to interview my neurologist because he's helped hundreds of people. Like what he does is insane. He does deep brain stimulation surgery for people with Parkinson's and for people with dystonia. And
what's his name?
Wesley Thavasan. I can send you his details.
Okay.
He's at Cabrini Hospital, but he's done over 700 of these procedures, and he's changed lives. Yeah,
amazing. We'll get in touch with Dr. Wesley and see what we can do.
Yeah, he's lovely.
Kirsten, thank you so much for your time. Really, really appreciate it. Thank you for sharing your story, where you've come from, and and we look forward to seeing more artwork from you. And
thanks, Richard.
Also the top gong of the age group at the Melbourne Marathon this year.
Yeah, I've put that out there now, haven't I?
It's out there now.
I'll keep you posted. Enjoy your artwork. Thanks, Richard.
Thank you so much. That was another episode of the Success Times Happiness podcast. Next time you're staring at a blank canvas, turn to the person next to you and tell them all about the show. It really means a lot. A huge thank you to Kirsten for sharing her powerful story in such honesty, humility, and heart. If today's conversation inspired you, please subscribe, leave a comment, or share it with someone who needs to hear it. It genuinely makes a difference. Until next time, peace.